Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of 120 Seconds. Today, we are very lucky to have our first international guest speaker. His name is Anthony Holm. RFR International has worked with Anthony and the team at Loop UX for many years now. He has a vast experience in market research and specifically in UX research. So welcome, Anthony, and tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Well, hello, everyone. Grazie a tutti for having me. My name is Anthony. I work as project and account manager for Loop UX. Loop UX is a company based in Copenhagen, Denmark. We have offices as well in Austin, Texas. We do global UX research projects, which means that clients commission projects to us where we go out into the world and investigate certain topics, mostly within social media, but also within consumer electronics and medicinal application products. So far, I have done research in 27 countries. Most of it has been remote, but I've also done research in person in about 14 or 15 countries after I made like a little overview of it all. And we do various types of research methodology in my work, ranging from shadowing to diary studies to individual interviews. But I must say that my absolute favorite research methodology is the in-home interview, meaning that we go to participants' houses or apartments or wherever they live across the world, and we go and visit them and we have the interview there.
Anthony, there are many qualitative research methodologies. So why choose in-home interviews? What, in your opinion, are the benefits of choosing this research methodology?
There are, of course, many different reasons to why you would choose to do an in-home interview. And it's often dependent on what type of company that you are and what type of product or service that you have. But regardless, there's always benefits of going into participants' homes. And some of the reasons why our clients choose to do in-home interviews is a supplement to the lab interviews. So you are already going in field and you are meeting the participants face to face, but most often within a lab facility where you observe the participant being interviewed through a one-way mirror. But as soon as you go into people's homes and you meet them face to face, you see where they live, you see how they interact with every item that there is in their home. Something magical happens, and you get this type of empathy for your users. You see like how they use your product in their natural habitat. You experience what they experience. Of course, a UX interview is always not 100% natural experience, as normally people do not have a group of 5 to 6 people come into your home, but it is as close as it comes to seeing users using your product or service firsthand. But besides having this experience of seeing the user firsthand, an important aspect is also when your clients brings stakeholders into the field, meaning most often it's not only researchers who are joining the in-home visit. It can be marketing managers, it can be engineers, hardware engineers, software engineers, or people throughout the organization who maybe work more on a higher level with the product, but it's a good way for them to experience, to connect back to the users and like to actually see how are these users using the products that we have invented for them. So that is like products that already exist, but it's also super good to get insights if you have maybe just even a concept or you have a working prototype, and then to get that first-hand knowledge. Because regardless of what work you do, if it's research, you are a CEO, you are a bus driver. I mean, when you work with the same thing every day, sometimes you get kind of blind of what you're working with. So getting this fresh perspective in people's homes about your product, that is just gold in terms of developing your product. And what it also can do, an in-home visit, is that if your team, who maybe not usually work together on an everyday basis, if your organization is very large or you work in a big building and you don't get to see each other every day, these in-home visits are a good way for your stakeholders to connect to each other and to spar and to develop new ideas. Because, like, let's face it, let's say we were doing in-home visits in Rome and traffic is really bad during rush hour. So one of the things about in-home visits is that we need to transport ourselves to people's houses. So whilst we are transporting ourselves or coming back from an interview, you have this time in the van or car or public transportation, whatever public transportation means you choose. You have this opportunity to connect with your colleagues and like to digest, okay, what did we just learn? And this is like a new inspiring element to it. So it's kind of also a team building experience. So in essence, like one of the main benefits of doing in-homes interviews as a qualitative method is that your stakeholders and you as a researcher, you basically gain a deeper perspective of your user by like having this real life experience where you are seeing the person close hand. I mean, I guess it's kind of almost like saying that you went to a Placido Domingo opera and you get spit in your face or Pavarotti, and it's like that magical experience. Like you can basically smell the participants, you can see them. I think a lot of people disregard like the empathy that you get with your users, because in tech, you often work in this high-paced environment. It's like, because everything is moving so fast. So taking a moment to like slow down and smell the roses, so to speak, by taking time to visiting people's homes, maybe on an entire research trip, like maybe 6 or 8 interviews is enough, but it gives you a chance to build some empathy and kind of connect back to your customers and see how they see your product from a whole new perspective. And I know I've said the word magical a few times, but I truly believe that it is magical to go to people's houses and having them inviting you in, and also just like being part of their life, if only for like a short moment.
So you've done many, many home interviews. I can only imagine the stories or particular instances you've had while conducting in-home interviews at respondents' home. Is there anything fun you'd like to share with us? Any interesting or exciting or strange things that ever happened while you conducted research in respondents' homes?
Of course. I've had many, many memorable moments conducting in-home interviews. Well, it's also important to mention that I am not a researcher by trade. I'm a project manager, so I am not the one facilitating the interview. I am facilitating all of the practicalities, but I am also present during the interviews, and I also take notes once in a while, not every time. But one of my favorite moments, I mean, a favorite moment doesn't necessarily have to be exactly positive, but one time in the south of Germany, we were going to a participant's house, and we had a minivan. We have 6 people in the car, a moderator, an interpreter, and the stakeholder team. I believe there were 3 people. And then a truck almost hit us, so our driver had to evade the truck, and that resulted in that we hit the curb and 2 tires in our van got a flat tire. So we couldn't drive anywhere, and we had 45 minutes to get to our next in-home visit. So we stopped the car. I got outside. I like looked around. Okay, where are we? I saw a pizza place. And then I was like, okay, team, change of plans. We're going to have a quick bite to eat and we'll do a little prep session before we get to the next debrief. So I took the team out of the car. I ordered a few pizzas and some Cokes. They sat and had food. And then I went outside. I spoke to the driver. Okay, we need a replacement car. What can we do? And then 20 minutes later, a replacement car arrived and we were only 15 minutes late arriving to the in-home interview. Another thing that I think is very general about doing in-home interviews, and I have been to student places in northern Hanoi in Vietnam. I have been to young families in Brazil, various type of homes in Bangkok and in Malaysia. But one thing that is always quite interesting to see is the parents. There's always some sort of a mother figure that wants to take care of all the guests and that wants to give you food. And we try to not, when we do in-home interviews, we of course try to be as invisible as possible because we don't want to intrude too much on people's lives. But when a mother comes in with a tray full of cookies or some fruit, it's almost impolite to like not accept it. So one time in Brazil, we were interviewing a group of young people under 18 years old. So one thing is like seeing a group of teens, like how they interact with each other and seeing their friendship is very, very entertaining in itself. But we were conducting the interview. There was not enough space. I was sitting on the floor next to an aquarium where a turtle kept looking at me through the aquarium. And then all of a sudden, the father comes out of the bedroom in his boxer shorts and just walks through the entire interview and says, hello. And we were all just, okay. So that happened, but we just have to continue because like the in-home interview, it is to experience their daily lives. So the father, he wasn't at work at the time. Maybe he just got off work. Maybe he works in the evening, but just because we came, he was still continuing his life and he had to go in the kitchen to get a snack. And of course he should do that, but it's something that we were just not used to when we come as researchers from a different type of environment. So it was just like, okay, nice to meet you too, sir.
Anthony, we're nearing the end of our session. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to have a chat with us. We at RFR International, I am looking forward to working together on our next project in Italy. Good luck with everything and hope to see you again here at 120 Seconds. Bye now.
Oh, thank you. Mille grazie. Thank you. Thank you for having me.